So we just plucked these two beauties out of the garden. He has a bad accent. It's not too bad, eh? Crikey! Pickles. So I'm gonna slice them up and make a sandwich. Oops. Don't lose them first. Yeah, we got quite a few. Pickles growing. These are all cucumbers. Cucumbers? Did I call them pickles? Yeah, I think I called them pickles. Yeah, they're not pickles, they're cucumbers. But they're the kind that they use in making pickles. So. Just thought I'd show you the size of these cucumbers. Got a little bit out of hand, but literally, that's a beast. So they can start getting a little, another one. Crikey, look at the size of these cucumbers. Just didn't know a pickle could get that big, huh? So they might be getting a little tough. They'll sneak away from you sometimes. You won't even know they're growing down here. And they'll get a little jumbo-sized, American-sized, I guess. But yeah, you can see this plant's looking a little wilty. I need some water. And this is a totally different, this is like a English variety or something like that, I think. Really sweet, not very strong, and they're long. Get that really distinct long shape. Yeah. This is, as you can see, yarrow. Got some wild yarrow growing amongst the garden here. A ton of it, actually. There's all the yarrow. Not too long ago, planted sweet peas. Look really healthy. Like this method here. Stringing them up with some twine. Gives them that little extra stability. And they're amazing how these things, you know, are designed to just wrap around anything and everything it can find. There's actually time lapses that I've watched of vines, you know, and they'll sit there and twirl around and round until they catch on to something. These little tendrils, as you can see, just get ensnared, you know, even within themselves. And once they find something, they just curl around it. As you can see, that's what's happening there on the twine. It's pretty amazing complexity. Could you imagine trying to program a living life form to do this kind of simple task? Just to promulgate itself, you know? To grow and extend towards the sun. It's pretty amazing. The simple things, like the Bible says, God uses to confound the wise. And that's how nature is. This is just how we're storing our latest pile of manure. We didn't think we'd need it this year, so just gonna kind of let it settle. Probably cover it up over the winter. And it should be pretty good stuff by next spring. So the rain still coming. We've had a lot of late summer rains lately. Dill. Love dill. I don't know, without coming across as too overly dramatic, there's just kind of a sense of foreboding, like, a real farmer, right? Like, I've often referred to the early settlers, and, those guys didn't have supermarkets to go to in the middle of the winter time. They had a few, once the colonists began to get organized and built towns, cities, they had some mercantile, they had some general goods. But it's nothing like it is today. And if you can imagine, just when your primary income is what you produce on your land, and as a farmer, the food that you provide your family, something that you have the massive responsibility of growing yourself. And man, talk about stress, right? A few bad weather events, and you might go hungry. So just with that mindset in mind, it's just kind of this sense of foreboding that we obviously this year haven't done enough remotely anywhere close to enough. We haven't grown enough to supply ourselves, to keep ourselves fed through the winter, which is the idea, right? And man, it's just the more I think about it, this isn't the first year that we've tried this, and this is just the first year that I'm actually documenting it. I'm still eating dill. It's very perfumey, pungent herb. Of course, you can use it to there she is. You can use it to flavor your pickles. Granted, you actually produce enough cucumbers to can pickles to make it worthwhile, which kind of doubt we even will this year. And it's tough when you're juggling. It's a full-time job to feed yourself off, a small farm. Can't imagine a big farm, but so I've got other, projects that I'm working on. I got other assets laying around in the yard, and things that I need to get sold. And so, this hasn't been my main concern or my main focus. So, I've kind of this word half-assed it. Yeah, I remember that last video I said not to do things half-assed. Well, of course, we still have enough luxury in this country that we can, just kind of play around with the idea of growing your own food in case of an emergency. But, man, the more I think about it, just how caught off guard are we all going to be if something seriously goes wrong in this country with the supply chain, right? The food supply. So, as you can see, I've got quite a bunch of tomatoes around me. Or just finally, I don't know what it was this year. If it was the soil was too rich with the manure that wasn't allowed to sit around and ferment long enough. But everything was just so slow this year, despite all the rain, the constant rain. So it's always something, and it wasn't even that bad with the bugs. Now we have all the like cabbage moths, I think that's the name, little white butterflies, and they just load your plants, your leafy plants, with eggs, and these little green caterpillars just devour everything. And we even found those on the aspen this year, so yeah, they're pretty prolific. With all the rain, I guess the bugs, the pestilences are loving it. But yeah, we're just now getting, some tomatoes, right? Green tomatoes. Okay, we got a couple reds here. Finally, cherry tomatoes. Beautiful. Tell you what, we're gonna grow tomatoes in high elevation. These are the way to go, because you actually get to eat them before the fall. And sorry. I'm a slob. And they taste delicious, packed full of sugar. Now the flies are really getting on my nerves all day in the trailer. This one fly. He has some death wish, and we usually keep a fly swatter around because we don't need to. But I've been tempted to find one. Anyway, no, just the sense of foreboding, the realization that, man, we're really screwed at this point in our journey of trying to grow a substantial amount of food to feed ourselves, because we haven't done anything remotely yet close to that, and it's drawn later and later on the season now. And yeah, if you don't do, especially high elevation, with only one grow season, if you don't do everything perfectly from the start, you might as well just give up, because you're not going to, those plants aren't going to reach full maturity enough to produce something worthy of eating. So you could call it, for now, it's looking like a failed experiment. And I didn't have the highest expectations, but man, we really poured some effort into it this time. And it can be frustrating. I know there's people that get it down like a science and get their gardens, get their little small farms together to the point where it is a lot more efficient and not so time intensive to operate. But we're not there yet. I humbly admit we are by no means professionals. But we're learning, and no better time than now, right? That rooster doesn't shut up. I swear I am going to eat crow. The cock that crows. Tell you what, yeah, I see no purpose in a rooster. As long as your chickens are well enough fortified, which our chickens are. They really serve no function other than be completely annoying at random times of the day. And never shut the hell up when you're trying to, film a video. So yeah, times are Times are short. And, yeah, time is short. And, no better time than the present to try to be more and more self-sufficient. We're trying, within our own limited means with the resources that we have. And of course, land is king and water is queen. You need to have those two things in order to even just, begin to get started. I mean, you can rent land, but how long is that going to last, You can use somebody else's land, but it takes a lot of work to work the land and to get it to work the way you want it to work and produce, to get the soil up to a certain standard to where it's actually going to be effective in producing healthy, fast-growing plants, which we're obviously still struggling with. So, yeah, I mean, if that's all you got, if you got a friend or, say a local farm. I'm still eating dill, by the way. It's good stuff. It just tastes like medicine. I mean, some herbs are so pungent. Dill, arugula. It's like pure medicine. Herbs of the field, right? For the healings of the nations. Not just marijuana, okay? Rastafaris. Yeah, I mean, if that's your only resource available to you, somebody else's land, a small farm that's willing to take you in to, just say, work on the farm and, take some of the produce home with you, eat, you'll be eating healthier than you ever have probably, and you're going to be learning as well. There's a few places that I've considered doing that myself, but again, I'm just not. If I was a kid, if I had no other responsibilities, if I didn't have all these projects, I might actually consider that. Just for the learning experience, but, there's YouTube, so, but it's true, there's no better lessons that can be learned than, real life, doing things yourself instead of just, sitting back and watching. It's real easy to watch other people do things, but to actually get off your duff and do things yourself and do all the hard work, get that sweat on your brow, those dirty fingernails, yeah, it's a whole different thing. And I got a fly that's bugging me again, but it's not the end of the year yet. Still got plans to try to maximize as much, get as much out of these plants as we possibly can towards the ultimate aim of eating healthy and fortifying our immune systems. At this point, feeding ourselves for the winter, not at all practical, not at all remotely realistic, but I mean, other than having livestock, chickens, you can eat a lot of chickens probably. Chickens grow up really fast, but you still got to feed chickens. So all these things, you have to think about. The more land you have, of course, you can, rotate chickens. They'll live off of, leafy green things, bugs, but usually have to give some kind of, you have to supplement some kind of food with the chickens. And, man, just starting from scratch is not easy. I'll just leave it at that. And we're not starting from scratch this year. Like I said, we've grown for better part of a decade, but never really all that seriously. It's more like a hobby farm, kind of a supplemental. I mean, I love garden-grown pico de gallo. fresh salsa, garden fresh salsa. There's nothing that compares with homegrown, ripened on the vine tomatoes and cilantro, fresh from the garden, and even peppers. Peppers usually take a little while longer. I don't think up here, high elevation, that peppers ever really get as warm as they like to be, you know. But we've tried different things. This year we got some Hungarian wax peppers growing. I don't know if they're ever going to produce anything. Like I said, everything's growing really slow this year. I'm not quite sure why. It's kind of a mystery. But it's always something. It seems like one year the aphids just infest everything. You know, another year the cabbage moths, we got them this year. Drought, I guess too much water can be a bad thing because we've had this black mold spots on all the trees. So it's just this constant adapting to what nature throws at you. And it's not just, a garden does not just grow itself. That's one pretty obvious lesson. So anyway, I'm getting a lot of rain. Gonna get out of here with the camera while I still can without getting soaked, but thanks for watching. We'll see. Herbs are really easy to grow, by the way. Basil, cilantro, lettuce. Very fast growers. Oregano. Herbs are good. Microgreens, we had a neighbor that would grow for the farmer's market up here, and they eventually just kind of, you know, they had tomatoes one year and everything was just so much work that they just kind of leaned towards the cash crops that were quick and easy, like the microgreens, you know, just sell a flat of microgreens. And you know, some of those things, you know, there's certain things you need to learn that we've learned over time and we're still learning. You know, it's just some things, you know, they're just a little too much of a hassle to even try up here in high elevation. There's other staples that just grow themselves, and I mean, practically, I just said you can't just let your garden grow itself, but some things are just so low maintenance that it's just worth planting a ton of it, you know, and very healthy for you, you know. Leafy greens, you know, always super good. In fact, we haven't eaten enough salads this year. I mean, that should be a staple in the summertime, just a salad with every meal. But a lot of this is a habit, you know. You got to form a new habit. If you're not used to eating healthy that way, then you know, it's going to take time. You just got to form that habit of and a palate thing too, like your taste change over time. The more you eat a certain way, your palate changes. So yeah, some people never eat salads, and they're like, why would I want to eat that green leafy stuff? Well, you know, there's salad dressing, all right? Anything is good with the right sauce on it. That's my theory. You can eat vegan, you know, mystery meat hamburgers, as long as you have enough barbecue sauce on that thing. It's pretty scarfable, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty scarfable. Those fake chicken nuggets, yeah, lather those things up with some barbecue sauce. You are set. Almost make myself hungry, but I already just ate, so. Yeah, I just had some fresh cuke on a sandwich and some lettuce from the garden. That was tasty. The cucumber's super sweet, like regular cucumbers, pickle cucumbers. I don't know what the name is for pickling. Anyway, you can see I'm not an expert, but pickling cucumbers, I think that's what they call them. They got the little spikes all over them. You know what, some really good cucumbers that we grew in previous years are lemon cucumbers. Those things are so tasty, and they grow really fast. if you harvest them at the right time, the skin doesn't get too tough. They're super sweet. They don't even hardly have much of a cucumber taste to them. And they're like these perfect little, they look like a lemon, little yellow lemon-shaped cucumbers. So they're like the perfect little size. They grow fast. They're amazing in salads and sandwiches, whatever. So that's one I'd recommend. We don't have this year. I don't know why. It's just kind of like come and go. You know, you plant what you plant. At our level, anyway. You plant what you plant, and then certain things don't grow. Certain things grow like crazy, and you stick what in the ground. You stick the things in the ground that grew, and the others you say, well, nice knowing you, or they just die off before they even get a transplant. Yeah, there's a lot of lessons to be learned in gardening, trying to grow your own food. But, yeah, it's God's design from the garden in the fall. Man had to work by the sweat of his brow, toiling in the dirt to feed himself. And I think a lot of those lessons that God intended for man are no longer learned when we're, when we live in this capitalist society of just, corporations supplying our every need. Anyway, God bless. The sun's coming back out. It's beautiful. And I'm going to try to get some work done. If it stops raining, that is. Yeah, that's my little update. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching.